Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4 on this Monday. Susan Simon is off this week. Charlotte DeLeste is here, sort of.
Sort of.
Got a little.
This is what you get.
A little throat problem, a little
Just
voice
a
problem.
little bit, yeah.
You got your tea going.
I got my tea. I got my cough drop just in case.
And I'm here to
I'm all good.
pick up this slack.
Thank you.
Thanks for being with us today and
My pleasure.
soldiering through.
Yeah.
But here's what's making news on this Monday. As more arrests are made by ICE, community support is being given to those affected.
Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein still has a job for now. He went to the White House today expecting to be fired. And actor Bill Cosby will find out his fate tomorrow when a judge sentences him for sexual assault. But first, let's take a look outside. I know you're under the weather, but the weather today just perfect. No, it really
just
is.
Spectacular.
Not bad.
We could bottle this for January and February.
I know.
Be perfect.
I know.
The weather words for today, though: gusty thunderstorms tomorrow. Dave Caulfield is with us in the backyard weather patio. I guess this couldn't last.
Yeah, Mark and Charlotte, some changes definitely on the way later on tonight. We do have a slight chance of showers in the forecast for late tonight and for tomorrow. A line of showers and thunderstorms looks to come through, and some of those could be a little bit on the strong to severe side. So an alert day in the forecast for Tuesday, especially for the afternoon and evening hours. High winds, hail, and even some brief heavy rain, the main threats. And we could see the culprit cold front, if you will, off to the north and west. That's going to lose some luster as it gets a little bit closer to us tonight, but then restart, if you will, into tomorrow afternoon and evening. Could bring some brief bouts of heavy rain and some gusty winds as it comes through. So we'll be on the lookout. Need to have an eye to the sky tomorrow. And if we have an eye to the sky right now, we're noticing a few more clouds in the sky. We'll see increasing clouds ahead of that front this evening. Downtown Madison, the Edgewater Skycam looking at 75 degrees. Right now, south-southeast wind at 8 miles per hour. Some other temperatures close to 80 in Boscobel and Mineral Point, 76 in Prairie du Chien, and 75 in Monroe. About 5 degrees warmer compared to this time yesterday. In Madison, we're still seeing plenty of blue sky, but noticeably some more clouds in the sky as well. Temperatures falling through the 70s into the 60s, with mostly cloudy skies arriving by later on tonight. Now, let's take a look at your first alert traffic update. Gammon Road and the Beltline not looking too bad at the present time. In fact, really not seeing too many delays and no major accidents or incidents to report across Dane County. A few brake lights starting to show up on the Beltline, as you might expect at this time of day, closer to Fish Hatchery Road eastbound, but everything not looking too bad, and a few of those brake lights starting to show up closer to Stoughton Road. But everything's showing up green as of now. Verona Road to John Nolan eastbound, that's 5 minutes, average speed of around 50 miles per hour, and some other routes in and around Madison. The Beltline to Janesville, 28 minutes. That's looking good as well, with an average speed of around 65 miles per hour. And that is your first alert traffic update. We'll talk more and track these storms tomorrow hour by hour in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Dave, we'll see you then. Thank you. First at 4, at least 34 Wisconsinites have been detained by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement over the weekend.
Madison officials say they were surprised since ICE never notified them. Now the community is trying to figure out what to do now. Amanda Quintana is live at Centro Hispano, where dozens are coming together to see what they can do to help the families left behind. Amanda?
Yes, well, here at Centro Hispano, they are making their message very, very clear. This is an ICE-free zone. Now, they had dozens of supporters here today inside supporting those families that were affected by these ICE arrests. We now know 11 people here in the Madison area were arrested by ICE, and they are being detained. We spoke to some of those people here today, some of their family members. The city of Madison, Madison Police, Dane County Sheriff's Office, and UW Police all here to say ICE did not follow the proper protocol. That's been discussed in the past by not announcing their presence here, which Mayor Soglin says has created more fear in our community.
Our message to them is very simple. If you want to make our community safe, if you want to make this nation safer, then come to us and we will tell you if there is anyone of danger in the community.
Sheriff Dave Mahoney agreeing, saying local law enforcement knows the community better than ICE does. Local police do not believe someone with traffic violations or someone who is simply undocumented needs to be removed from our area. The mayor also taking issue with reports of ICE presenting themselves as police officers. The mayor says that he will have a meeting with the U.S. Conference of Mayors on Thursday, and what he's calling an intrusion of ICE is something that they will be talking about. Now at 5 o'clock, we're going to show you a story of a young woman who says her fiance's father, and her fiance's uncle were all taken on Friday morning on their way to work.
Amanda Quintana reporting today. Amanda, thank you.
The future of Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein appears to be up in the air. Rosenstein, Deputy Attorney General and overseer of the special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation, met with Chief of Staff John Kelly at the White House this morning. Amidst reports he expected to be fired. This comes in the wake of a New York Times report that Rosenstein secretly discussed recording President Trump and invoking the 25th Amendment to remove him from office. A report that Rosenstein has denied. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders said in a statement, quote, he and President Trump had an extended conversation to discuss the recent news stories. Rosenstein and Trump will meet Thursday at the White House.
Thursday is the same day that Trump's Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh and a woman who has accused him of sexually assaulting her when they were teenagers are set to appear before the Senate Judiciary Committee. The president is sticking by his nominee even as another woman has come forward with accusations of sexual misconduct. Nicole Killian has more details from Capitol Hill.
President Donald Trump says he's not replacing Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh, even as more women come forward with allegations of sexual misconduct.
There's a chance that this could be one of the single most unfair, unjust things to happen to a candidate for anything, but I am with Judge Kavanaugh.
Over the weekend, The New Yorker published a story from a new accuser, Deborah Ramirez, a former classmate of Kavanaugh's at Yale. In it, Ramirez accused Kavanaugh of exposing himself to her at a party. Her claims add to the allegations from Christine Blasey Ford, who says Kavanaugh tried to assault her when they were teenagers. Kavanaugh wrote a letter to the Senate Judiciary Committee saying, I will not be intimidated into withdrawing from this process. The coordinated effort to destroy my good name will not drive me out.
Blasey is currently scheduled to face the Senate Judiciary Committee on Thursday. Some Democrats want a delay and are calling for an independent investigation.
The way you get to the truth in regard to any allegation of a crime is, first of all, you have to have an investigation.
Protesters continue to flood Capitol Hill. They're also calling for an investigation into the allegations against Kavanaugh. Some were current students from Yale Law School.
There needs to be a full due process, an opportunity for her to be heard, and so that we can get both sides of the story.
Michael Avenatti, the lawyer for Stormy Daniels, says he also has a client who will come forward this week with new claims against Kavanaugh. In Washington, Nicole Killian for WISC News 3.
Over the weekend, both Vice President Mike Pence and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said they believe Judge Brett Kavanaugh will ultimately be confirmed.
And President Trump is in New York for meetings at the United Nations, striking a more hopeful tone on U.S. relations with North Korea.
We have many things in store. It looks like we'll have a second summit quite soon.
That is a sharp departure in tone from last year, where Trump referred to leader Kim Jong-un as Rocket Man in his first speech to the General Assembly. Trump's comments today came during an appearance with the president of South Korea. He says details of the next summit with North Korea will be revealed soon.
It'll be similar to the format we had before, most likely a different location. Again, it will be announced pretty soon.
President Trump plans to outline his foreign policy achievements tomorrow when he addresses the full assembly and where the United States goes from here. He'll also chair a Security Council meeting on Wednesday, including Iran and larger discussions on nonproliferation.
Actor Bill Cosby is back in court to face sentencing for sexual assault. The sentencing hearing began with a debate over whether Cosby should be labeled a sexually violent predator. The term implies a mental abnormality requiring lifelong counseling. Psychologists testified that the term fits, saying Cosby has an uncontrollable urge to violate young women and that he would probably do it again. The 81-year-old was the first celebrity to go on trial in the Me Too era and has denied the accusations.
We all suffered a lot. We've stood up for many women, and he needs every single year.
The judge will sentence Cosby tomorrow and could give him the maximum of 30 years in prison or send him home on probation. The defense argues that he's blind and elderly and unlikely to commit another crime.
Well, the first legal hemp harvest since the 1950s is underway in the northern part of the state. Industrial hemp farming was banned in Wisconsin because of how closely it resembles marijuana. But Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker signed a law in 2016 legalizing cultivation of industrial hemp after bipartisan support from both Democrats and Republicans, believing there could be a good market for the plant.
I was just looking for an alternative that, if it works and can make some money for a smaller farmer, so be it. But you got to try it.
I think you're going to see in the next 5 to 10 years, Wisconsin is going to once again be a national leader in this crop.
Industrial hemp is often used for healthy food choices or organic body care. Although it stems from the same family as marijuana, it does not contain the same chemical makeup, which will not allow individuals to use it as a drug. In order to grow this, you still need a license issued from the state, which must be renewed each year.
China is accusing the U.S. of trade bullyism as new tariffs kick in today. This round will hit Americans more directly. A Chinese government ad in the Des Moines Register Sunday highlighted how the trade war is hurting American soybean farmers. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce says more than $1 billion of Iowa exports are threatened by tariffs. The Trump administration is providing up to $12 billion in relief to farmers. And those renewed trade war fears ended a 4-session winning streak on Wall Street. The Dow Industrials gave up 181 points, closing at 26,562. The NASDAQ Composite Index did manage a 6-point gain, but the S&P 500 lost 10. Well, fans of Ha Long Bay waited in line today for the restaurant's reopening 4 months after a car crashed into the building on West Willie Street. The Southeast Asian eatery was evacuated after an SUV drove into it last May. The restaurant's fans say it was sorely missed during the time it was closed. Doors opened today to a full house as customers enjoyed the food for the first time in months. They say that the wait just made the food taste that much better. Oh, I've been waiting for the restaurant.
You're a fan of that place, aren't you?
Huge fan.
Well, it's open. Get down there.
I
It'll help
will.
your throat.
Maybe
Who knows?
it will.
Who knows? There's more to come at 4. Up next, we'll head to the movies with our Will Loper.
And we'll find out what he thinks of the new film, The House with a Clock in Its Walls. That's when Live at 4 continues.
you saying that you're a warlock? Please teach me, please, please.
Okay, have it your way. I can give you the right books, teach you the right spells, but that last 1%, that's up to you. Three gongs. Last time it was 4. What happens when it gets down to 1?
Nothing good, that's for certain.
We have to destroy the clock. So creepy.
Well, that was a clip from the new movie, The House with a Clock in Its Walls, one of the newest movies to arrive in theaters. Is it worth seeing, or are you better off staying home and hiding clocks in your own house? Here to tell us about this film critic Will Lope. Right, Will?
Hi there. Hey, that may be a fun time, but Jack Black, Kate Blanchett, they're having a blast with their characters in this movie. The magic is fun. It'll entertain enough for one viewing, but it's nothing to race to the theaters to see. So a 10-year-old boy, Lewis, goes to live with his uncle Jonathan, played by Jack Black, in a house filled with magical furniture, suits of armor, and shrubs that come alive. Turns out Uncle Jonathan is a warlock and takes Lewis under his wing. As Lewis begins to learn more magic, Uncle John seems to be hiding lots of secrets, including why there's a giant ticking clock somewhere in the house, and what bad things will happen when the clock stops. So now Lewis learning magic and Jack Black playing up his weirdo persona is fun for a while, but things start to drag a bit when the ending comes with its overly complicated twists and not so great looking CGI. Also, this is billed as family friendly, but I gotta say, this movie is some super creepy puppets and mannequins and at least one terrifying talking zombie. Despite its PG rating, I'd say 10 and above, at least unless your kids can handle scary stuff. Overall, it's a fun romp of a movie. Like, it's start getting you into that Halloween spirit, but nothing that quite makes it a must-see.
So you think Jack Black, you think it's going to be a comedy?
Yes, absolutely. But it's definitely got some scary moments, especially later in the film. It's sort of this fantasy, comedy, gothic, horror mix-up, mash-up of a movie.
Does it get old?
Not quite. I think the movie's biggest problem is sort of what audiences is going for, because a lot of the humor and jokes are aimed at little kids, but then the scary stuff is quite adult-oriented, so...
I think she wrapped it up best. So creepy.
Yeah, it was so creepy,
So what's the rating?
3 creepy mannequins out of 5. Those things will be giving me nightmares.
Really?
Yes.
All right, next week.
Next week we have Smallfoot. Animated film about a Yeti finding a human.
It looks a little lighter.
Very much lighter, yes. I think this one will be appropriate for children.
All right, we will see you next Monday.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Will. And coming up, a great excuse to get out on the links. There's new research that suggests playing the game of golf could help you live a longer life. That's coming up after today's forecast. Take a look at this. A 6-year-old Chinese athlete captured 2 bronzes in the first ever Asian Indoor Skydiving Championships in southwest China. The young boy only had 8 months experience in indoor skydiving. During the competition, he kept spinning and tumbling and hovering in the wind tunnel, which was like a ballet performance. You liking this, Dave?
I really do.
Indoor skydiving is a new type of sport that uses the wind tunnel to simulate real skydiving. Athletes from 11 countries competed, and players can choose their own actions and music.
I feel like if I tried that, I'd get first place by accident, like just trying to
get out of it.
gain my balance.
Just get me out of here.
Yeah, and then I'd get a gold medal.
You could sell tickets for that performance.
Oh yeah, I would want to watch it.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Giving the viewers what they want.
It's Monday, September 24th. It's Gallbladder Good Health Day. Part of our digestive system. Eat an apple today. That's supposed to be good for your gallbladder. I eat an apple every day, and I have my gallbladder removed. I don't have one.
So much for that.
So much for that.
You're taking our apples,
Eat
Mark.
the apple anyway. It's also Family Day, a day to focus on getting parents to do things with their children.
Every day should be that day.
It should be.
It really should. And it's National Punctuation Day. According to the National Punctuation Day website, here are the 13 marks from the apostrophe to the semicolon. You gotta love the ellipses. I
think so too.
Dot.
I'd like to kill the ellipses, to be quite honest.
Really?
Yes.
Oh no.
I feel it is overused.
And the dash is underrated.
Yeah.
I didn't. Check out the website.
Yeah, exactly. It's a really good read.
It
dot.
Use the right punctuations.
That's true. And I don't know if we're using the right punctuation tomorrow, but we'll just say for now there could be some severe weather ellipses. And I'll tell you what comes after that ellipses coming up in your first forecast.
Just keep walking.
Yeah, I'll just keep walking out the building.
Well, you're
Good afternoon. I hope everyone is having a great Monday so far. We've seen the clouds on the increase across southern Wisconsin, especially over the last few hours. But our cold front that could cause some strong to severe thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon, still well off to the north and west, and we can see that on visible cloud track. And if we replace that with Doppler track, we can start to see some light showers. This is our culprit cold front as it continues to move to the south and east slowly. I think it will lose a little bit of its steam by the time it gets here later tonight, but it will restart itself by the time we get into tomorrow and could bring a line of showers and thunderstorms to us. And as I mentioned, some of these storms could be strong to severe. We have a slight risk for spots just to the south and east of Madison. Everywhere shaded in yellow, and marginal risk for spots a little bit farther to the north and west. So an alert day in the forecast for the threat of some severe storms, especially during the afternoon and evening. Main threats with this, folks, are going to be high wind, hail, and some brief heavy rain. Depends on where those downpours set up and how fast this line is moving right now. Looks like a pretty quick mover, but 60-mile-per-hour gusts possible and some brief heavy rain with those scattered storms. Also some small to moderate hail, not out of the question. Live look in Platteville, no severe weather right now. In fact, still some very nice weather on our Queen Bee Radio Skycam. Similar story in downtown Madison, but really over the last couple of hours, we've seen a lot of that blue sky go away. It's all part of the process as we get ready to welcome in our next rainmaker. But today, the high ahead of that cold front, 75 degrees, about 10 degrees above normal for this time of year. Right now, temperatures are in that territory, the mid to upper 70s. Some of us encroaching on 80 degrees for the second full day of fall. Boscobel at 79, 76 in Viroqua, and 77 in Janesville. But it is fall after all, and we've actually noticed some other counties across mainly central Wisconsin getting close to 50% as far as their fall color goes. But I think for southern Wisconsin, we still need to wait about 2 to 3 weeks. But talking about fall, we were going back over some stats, and yesterday, September 23rd, was the earliest ever trace of snow in Madison way back in the 1920s. Nothing like that this time around. However, temperatures will dip into the low 60s and upper 50s by the time we get to later this week, and really not looking at many 70s in our future going forward. So enjoy the mild weather while it lasts. Future track showing this cold front slowly moving to the south and east over the next 12 hours or so. We'll notice some waves along that front, and that will bring us some strong to severe showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. On Wednesday, though, we start to clear out. We'll have partly sunny skies, and we don't have to worry about rain chances Wednesday. Temperatures will be back in the 60s. We'll be in the low 60s for tonight, becoming mostly cloudy with possibly a few late raindrops, but really not looking at anything significant until we get into tomorrow. Mainly in the afternoon, those showers and thunderstorms around, high winds and hail definitely possible. And we'll have a little bit of a closer look to home on future tracks. So maybe just a few blips early on Tuesday, but then we start to get really the bulk of this line showing up by the time we get to Tuesday early afternoon, moving pretty quickly to the east throughout the early afternoon hours and into the early evening hours. A few more showers possible after that, with temperatures in the 50s to start off Wednesday, and anywhere from a quarter to a half an inch of rain expected with these storms, but isolated amounts of an inch or more where those heaviest thunderstorms do set up, definitely possible as we head into the next 24 hours. Your 7-day forecast showing those temperatures in the 60s Wednesday and Thursday, and plenty more rain chances and a few more chances for thunderstorms as well going forward. We have to wait until really the start of October after Wednesday to get another completely dry day. So that umbrella is going to have to be with us. But I don't really expect any real heavy rain except for possibly tomorrow when that line comes through. That's the good thing about these cooler temperatures. Usually the air can't hold that much moisture, so at least that's some good news.
You usually don't think of severe weather this time of year.
Exactly. Fall has fallen, if you will, but Mother Nature wants to give us one more round.
Oh, yeah, not done yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Dave. Stay tuned. Thanks, Dave. Tiger Woods' first tournament victory since 2013 this past weekend sparked a little extra interest in golfing. And today, we're also looking at new research that golfing is more than just a fun pastime.
The sport also offers health benefits for its players. Chris Martinez explains.
Nick Bush hits the greens at least once a week.
It's something that I enjoy playing, but also I feel better after playing.
Nick says golf is his primary form of exercise. Now a new report suggests playing more often could help extend your life. A review of more than 300 studies on the sport found golfing regularly reduces risk factors of heart disease and stroke. It can also improve the strength and balance for older players.
Strengthen not only the shoulders, but the core, their back, the glutes, their legs, all the way to the floor.
Dr. Dominic King of the Cleveland Clinic says there are ways for players to maximize health benefits. The study recommends playing 2.5 hours a week and ditching the cart.
Take your bag, carry it with you, or get one of the push carts. That's really the best way to burn the most calories, but get the most fitness and honestly probably the most fun out of golf.
While the study says there isn't a high risk of injury with golf, players are more at risk of developing skin cancer. Nick takes precautions.
Sunscreen, a hat. I do always lather up, and I always try to play with like some type of sleeve on my arms.
He hopes the game helps him stay healthy so he can keep playing for years to come. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
The study also...
Another excuse to go golfing.
Yeah. The study also found golf contributes to better mental health and can improve the overall health of people with disabilities.
And researchers say the golfing industry should strive to be more inclusive and welcoming to players of all ages, ethnic backgrounds, and genders.
There's more to come at 4. It is time to meet our Pet of the Week.
Marissa DeGroot from the Dane County Humane Society is here with WISC-TV. We'll find out more about this lively hound. This is going to be fun. Stay with us.
Okay.
live look at Madison's east side, the MG&E plant from our Edgewater Skycam on this turning cloudy Monday afternoon.
It is time for Potentially Yours on Live at 4.
Marissa DeGroot from the Dane County Humane Society is here. Welcome to you.
Hi.
This is Wisco.
And have you ever seen a more handsome face
He's
than
beautiful.
this?
Those ears.
Tell us about him.
So Wisco is a hound mix, probably somewhere around maybe 5 or 6 years old, and he actually came from another local shelter in Wisconsin who was experiencing some overcrowding. So now he's over in Dane County looking for a great home.
I bet mixed with a Dalmatian maybe.
I know. He's got these gorgeous little spots here. And Wisco is, a pretty active guy. He wants to run around and play a lot, and he does love other dogs. But what's not a great match with Wisco is if you have kitties in the house.
No kitties.
Okay. He just can't help himself around those critters. He just wants to play a little too rough with them, probably.
Oh, he's a hound dog.
With dogs, do you think that you should have, if you have a dog at home, it should be the same size or bigger, or is he going to look at smaller dogs as cats?
He's been doing play groups with a lot of different dogs, so I think as long as he gets a nice, slow introduction to some other dogs, I think he'll do really well.
But he needs room to go.
He does, and you checking things out. That hound nose is going too. I think you guys might have something underneath the couch here.
Probably some dead.
Don't even say.
There's a lot of skeletons out here. We don't really want to get.
Speak for yourself, Mark.
Don't go into the couch there. All right. So yeah, it's room to run. And he's got that big hound voice.
Yep, so probably not an apartment dog, probably
That's
more of
true.
a single family house guy. And you probably won't see him back in the kennels when you come and see him, because we do have him in a nice quieter area of the shelter. And so just ask for Wisco in the adoption center. You'll want to come meet this guy.
He's beautiful.
What do you
Bring
think?
hot
All right,
dogs.
last chance for Bark and Wine.
We are doing one last call because that is happening this Saturday over at our main shelter. So you can still get tickets for the next couple days. Our VIP tickets are sold out, but those regular general admission tickets still for a couple more days.
This is
So
a great
people could
event.
see Wisco this weekend.
You might see him. Hopefully he'll go home before then.
That'd be great.
And last week?
Oh, last week we had another great pup, another big hound mix, Danny.
Oh, yeah, he had the hot dog. He had the hot dog.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it was National Hot Dog Day.
Yeah.
And he did get adopted. We were so excited for that guy. So I'm really hoping it happens
Got
for
a lot-
Mr. Wisco here
A lot
too.
of big hound dogs out there.
Yeah, we do. And he's been with us a while, so
All right, well,
hoping
I'm
for a good one
glad
for this
Danny
one.
got a home. All right, let's get Wisco home. Great name, by the way. Thanks, Marissa.
Thank you.
If you're interested in adopting him or any of the other critters available, go to the website giveshelter.org, 838-0413, the number to call. Thanks again.
Next at 4, Dr. Zorba Pastor takes your medical questions live. The number to call is 270-9933.
And Zorba is standing by live at his clinic in Oregon. Oregon it is. Hi, Zorba. What are we talking about today?
We're going to talk about distracted teens and car crashes, how to prevent them.
Good afternoon. Here is your first alert traffic update, taking a live look at the Beltline in Gammon Road. Things still looking pretty good at this part of US 1214, but as we take a look across Dane County, no major accidents or incidents popping up, and really the Beltline looking pretty remarkably good at this time. We are starting to notice some of those brake lights, though, closer to John Nolan Drive and Rimrock Road. Average speeds of about 25 to 45 miles per hour in the Beltline, so not looking half bad at all. Eastbound John Nolan to the interstate, 5 minutes, average speed of around 50 miles per hour. Some other routes in and around the city. John Nolan to Verona Road westbound, not looking bad, 4 minutes, average speed of around 60 miles per hour. And close to 65 miles per hour, Verona Road to University Ave. That's a 6-minute trip right now. And that is your first alert traffic update.
All right, Dave, thank you. Locals and foreign visitors gathered to celebrate the Mid-Autumn Festival in Taiwan, releasing hundreds of flying lanterns that lit up the night sky. This mountainous village has a long history of releasing flying lanterns, which were first used as a means of communication between villagers and later were sent as wishes for the coming year. This marks the 20th anniversary of the Sky Lantern Festival. Beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Time to get your medical questions answered. Dr. Zorba Pastor is taking your calls at 270-9933. But before we get to the calls, I'll look at why teen driving deaths are on the rise and the impact of moms using marijuana around their children.
2 topics today for Dr. Zorba Pastor as he joins us from his clinic in Oregon.
Hi, Zorba.
Hi, great to be here.
So the number of teens dying in car crashes is on the rise. What's causing this?
Correct. After teenage driving was really on the decline, it seems to be on the rise. It does not appear to be alcohol related, but it is probably texting related. It's probably related to all the stuff that you are distractions within a car. It used to be you turned on the radio, you turned off the radio, you turned the dial like that. It's nothing like that now. With smart cars, you've got surfing, you've got texting, you have a whole bunch of things that are going on. And so there are a couple of recommendations that really go along with this. One recommendation is the phone, surprisingly as it is, actually has an off button. And if you shut off the phone, the world does not end. But you actually might do better. And so one thing parents might do when they're in the car with the teens and they're driving is actually shut off their own phone. Because teens often look at parents and what they do. And they really follow often what parents do. And if they're distracted driving because they're paying attention to the phone, the teens will do the same thing. And that goes along with another study that showed parents who smoke marijuana are more likely to have kids who smoke marijuana, especially at a younger age. And so when parents get stoned by their kids are more likely to get stoned. Just like if parents drink alcohol with their kids, that means their kids are more likely to drink. So I think, once again, it shows you that parents have a major influence on children, and I think it's always important to every parent to realize that with teens, you really mean a lot, even if they don't tell you that.
But teenagers being teenagers, tell them you can't have your phone on in the car. Is that realistic?
Well, first of all, when it comes to teenagers, nothing is realistic. I mean, you can tell them whatever you want to, and you think they're going to do it, but the answer is yes. And you know, with the iPhone and with other phones, you can actually put on an app that says, I'm driving, I'm not going to look at my text, I'm not going to answer the phone until I stop driving, because it can tell with the GPS that it's driving quickly. And sure, and also if they're young teens, you can make that as one of the things you're going to do if they're going to drive a car that's your car or a car that you give them. No doubt about it. I mean, I think this is the time when a parent becomes a parent becomes a parent.
270-9933 is the number to call. We had Mary from Madison on the line, but she is gone now. But she wanted to know the difference between whole versus 2% milk.
Well, whole milk has more butter fat in it. That's the difference. It has more calories. And on the whole, we have recommended 2% because we don't need that much fat in our diet. And we've also been against having that much the saturated fat that we get actually with dairy products. So I always recommend 2% milk. Once you get used to 2%, I find when I have whole milk, it feels like cream. So I mean, that's how much different it tastes to me. But yeah, 2% is generally better because it's fewer calories, less fat.
But I thought there was some study that said whole milk was actually better for you. I could be wrong.
Well, the most recent study has shown that dairy products are better than we thought. And in Wisconsin, that's a good reason for us to shout hooray. And that was one of the more recent studies that are in here. And I think, in fact, the whole milk products and also whole-fat yogurt, whole-fat cottage cheese may be okay. But then again, we have a calorie issue, not only in the country, but certainly in our state, when you look at the fact that so many of us are overweight. So if you're going to have a whole-fat dairy product, enjoy it, but in smaller amounts. When I have ice cream, I really like really delicious full-fat ice cream that's very rich. Instead of having 2 or 3 scoops, I have 1 scoop. And I think that's always the way to look at it, and certainly the way to look at it if you want to keep your waistline trim.
All right, let's go to the...
Okay. We got another caller, Diane from Madison. Hi, Diane. What's your question?
Hi. Dr. Zorba, I would like to ask you a question, and I want you to be in depth. If a parent is smoking and feeding a child breast milk, is that breast milk going to cause a lot of gas and have the baby crying more than unusual? I need to know this so that I can be able to direct this information to the parent.
To the parent. Are you the grandmother?
I am.
It sounds like a grandmother question.
That's right. I can just tell that.
I just want to get the
that.
right information, so please give it to me.
I can tell you the right information. First of all, we know that parents who smoke make it more likely their children will smoke too. So number one, they should quit smoking for that. We also know that children who are around parents who smoke, even if they don't smoke right around them, are much more likely to get throat infections and ear infections and chest infections. So we know that smoking when you're breastfeeding your child is not a good idea, whether you're smoking in the room or smoking in the garage or somewhere else. So the long and the short answer is don't smoke. Not smoking is actually much better for your child. Now, what is actually in the breast milk when you're smoking, I'm not exactly sure. But we do know that it's always best not to have any tobacco material around you. And you know, just like you can walk into the house and know somebody was just smoking because the stuff is on your clothes, it's that way with the baby too. And they have a very strong sense of smell. So tell your daughter, stop it.
We're just about out of time. I don't think we have time for another call. I guess it's flu shot season. What's that?
Yes. Time to get your flu shot. I got my flu shot. Remember, if you're older than 65, it's a stronger flu shot. The new shingle shot is also out. You need 2 injections of the shingle shot to make it work. It's 90 to 95% more effective. And remember, for people over 65, there's not 1 but 2 pneumonia shots. You get them 1 year apart, and they protect you from either other newer forms of pneumonia. So important to get all your immunizations. They work.
Up to date. All right. Sorry we couldn't get to more calls. There's some great questions on the line. Maybe we'll get to them next time. Zorba, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with the final Check Your Forecast. Nice evening, but
Yes, we do
Don't get
have
me
some
started.
possible severe weather on the way. A live look in Madison, the WISC-TV Skycam showing those clouds. Temperatures in the 70s right now. Will drop into the low 60s. A late shower possible. Then for tomorrow, some strong to severe thunderstorms possible in the afternoon and evening.
Have to keep an eye on that.
Yep.
All right, Dave, thank you. Tomorrow here on Live at 4, Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company will be taking your plant and garden calls live.
And Consumer Reports puts toasters to the test. We'll find out which one pops to the top of the ratings.
That's tomorrow. We'll be right back.
At Harker
In today's final touch, for most people, sharing a living room with a 6.5-foot-long alligator is the stuff of nightmares.
Well, Philippe Gillette has two, named Allie and Gator. They stalk the 67-year-old Frenchman's house. He feeds them whole chickens. The gators join hundreds of other creatures, including some of nature's most maligned species, from cobras to tarantulas. Over 2 decades, the herpetologist, the technical word for a reptile